India, and the assumption that has always been, kind of put on the large public and also on the queer community is that queer love is something that is imported from the West, which it clearly isn't. Sadly, Rohan couldn't be here today. I don't know if you're following him, but he's in New York right now, and day before yesterday, Meera Nair kind of presented the film to a much larger global audience. So the film is doing wonderfully well. After it won at Sundance, it's been going all over the globe, and I'm so happy that this is the kind of cinema that the world gets to see from India. So I did hear a round of applause, but I think the film deserves a bigger round of applause. So thank you. It would be absolutely unfair for us to talk about the film because we didn't really do much other than watch it like every single one of you here today. But if you would like to figure out more nuances about the film, there are several interviews online, one that I have also done with Rohan when he was in Bangalore last month. So do Google it and I'm sure you'll find it. There's so much to this director. I don't know if you all have been following his previous work, but the beauty about Rohan is he's always wanted to make queer cinema that is true to India, that is true to the soul of our country. And this film kind of shows you what his craft is. But keeping in mind that what today we saw on screen was a very, it had urban elements, but it was largely a contextualized film that was trying to show that queer love does exist within rural India, which is something that we do not often come across. The idea that being queer, being part of the LGBTQIA spectrum, being someone who identifies as different is somehow an urban idea, is something that is often propagated and told to us. But as Rohan so beautifully put across in this film, that queer love can come from the most remotest villages, from the most, marginalized parts of this country, and I just hope that we get to see more cinema like this in the future. But today let's kind of look at how a city like Bangalore, which also gives us so much warmth, also has its own versions of queer love. Now a lot of people here in the audience might identify with the community, and I think we need to celebrate the kind of queer love stories that we also have in a city like Bangalore. We're often told that the city of Bangalore is one of the most open cities and it welcomes people with an open heart. And I don't know if you know, but we're one of the cities to have probably had one of the first prides that went undocumented. It was a bunch of queer men who proudly marched down Brigade Road many years ago. And then of course in 2008 there was a pride. But let's not assume that just having a pride is the only symbol of queer existence. Our trans sisters and brothers have been claiming the streets forever, have been propagating the idea that queer is the same as everyone else for the longest time now. And putting that into context, I have two very special people here with me today, beside me, two people who've been in a relationship for a very long time, who proudly, openly identify as gay. And before we get into celebrating Bangalore and its love story with the queer community, I'd like to know a little bit about both of you. And first, let's take our reflections on the film. I think everyone in the audience, including all three of us, had those small parts of the film that we really connected with. It kind of showed that it doesn't matter where the cinema is being made, the experience of being queer is something that connects us all. Even if you were not queer, there were many parts of the film that I'm sure you connected with, showing that these experiences of life are something that kind of bring us together as humanity. So before I get into that whole conversation, and we will open this out later, if you all have any questions, if you all have any comments, I don't think they need to be questions, they could also be comments and opinions on the film that you would like to share. Let's just keep this a very open, safe space where whatever you say will not be judged and you can say whatever you want. So if any of you all dislike the film, which I don't think will be the case, but yeah, you could also kind of voice that opinion. But yeah, let's get back to both of you. I've got Saptarshi and Adil here today with me. Was your love story similar to Sabar Bonda in some ways?
Is it working? Working? Oh. this is red.
Yeah, then it's
That is fine. Okay. So, see, at the end of the day, they both loved each other. We both loved each other. Okay, and we still love each other. What I related is, it's not that that is set up in a rural environment, and I happen to find love in Bangalore. But deep down, I also come from a very small town. Okay, I come from, okay, it might sound not a small town anymore. I was born in Barakpur in West Bengal. I don't know how many of you have heard of this place. It's 20 kilometers far from Kolkata. Back then it was quite a small town. Okay, and things looked exactly pretty much similar to what it looked on the screen. And then we had moved to Indore. Today Indore is the cleanest city. Trust me, it wasn't. It was pretty much that, and we could walk around absolutely open pastures, and those were the exact same kind of comments that I have heard. So it's not like I have had it different and I have had it, oh, okay, that's absolutely cool, like, go live it. No, it's not that, okay? So I have also had to go through my journey. So I completely relate to what he would have gone through mentally, emotionally, and what hit me the most is when he's on the terrace, he's crying, and his mother comes, okay, and he ends up saying sorry. That hit. That hit really hard because I know I was not sorry. And thankfully so, because my parents had given an extreme safe space to me. So they had created a bubble that let the rest of the world do whatever, you do whatever you want to do, and we support you. Unfortunately, although in the movie, his parents tried, but the other circumstances still made him believe that he is the one who should be sorry for what his mother is going through. He's not sorry about him being gay. He's sorry about what his mother has to go through because of the fact that he's gay. That hit, because at the end of the day, and the other part is where the mother says, I knew. Because I always believed, and I still believe, okay, is that all mothers know. All mothers know. I'm sure I'm making a generalized blanket statement. There will be hate comments. But I know at the bottom of my heart that a mother knows. Some fathers may deny, but mother always knows. So she knew that her son is gay. My mother knew that her son is also gay. I related to that. So it's not too different. Yes, it's a village. The houses look different. The roads look different. In Bangalore, the houses look different. The roads look different. But where I come from, it's the exact same comments. You know, like, how can you continue to live with somebody random? Yeah, as if other marriages are not random enough. But anyway, that's my take.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I have come from a very small town, Shamli. It's in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, I have come from a very small town, Shamli. It's in Uttar Pradesh. Pretty much like this, but little developed. But yes, our neighbors had cows and goats. And I'm still not out to my parents. My parents are in their late 30s. I'm from a very conservative, late 80s, yes. Yeah. And I'm from a very conservative Muslim family, a very religious Muslim family. And me as a person, I cannot hurt my parents. So that's the choice I made. And this choice was not easy. And I still feel very suppressed. Like, I cannot come out to my loved ones. I cannot be real to my loved ones. And not only that, there were times when I have been through, sexual abuse when I was young, like 4 or 5 years old. Even at that time, I did not have a safe space to go and tell them what has happened to me. And that has impacted my personality, and I'm still going through therapies. So, yes, and then moving to a bigger city, finding my way, I met Rishi in Bangalore like 12 years back, and proposed me, and then we are together since then. Life has been good. My parents do at times ask me that you are 40 plus, when are you going to get married? We can't see you single. I can understand their concern. But I keep saying no, although I have always been very shy and timid, but for this, I have been very stubborn. So I don't give up. So now they have kind of accepted, okay, this is the way he's gonna be. So things are fine, but still the conversation that I noticed in this movie is pretty much the same. They don't understand the boundaries, kitna kamate ho, shadi kyun nahi kar rahe ho, and not only family members, even the neighbors, because the families are so interconnected. Like my mother has like 10 brothers and sisters. My father are like 5 brothers and sisters. So the extended families, cousins and all. I'm out to some of my cousins. I feel okay, they can understand. So yes, life is okay. I mean, but finding him, he being next to me, I'm in a safe space now. I have come a very long way, and I feel proud of where I am today. So I'm very grateful for my life currently. So that's all about it.
We are very grateful you're here today, and that took a lot of courage. Thank you so much for speaking so plainly about where you come from and your story. I would like to look at the urban context. We saw rural India, and of course we're saying everything's the same kind of experiences, and thank God for that, that at least in India it doesn't change whether you're in an urban scenario or a rural scenario. But coming to a city like Bangalore, was it easy for you to be queer, be gay, and find love in a city like this city, like Bangalore? And how did the city help or not help? You can be honest about it.
Yeah. It is extremely easy to be gay in Bangalore as compared to the rest of India. People here, is it even working? I don't know. Thanks. Yeah, this is working. So, people here are way more open-minded, mostly educated. And by education, I don't mean just the certificate. People have read, people have seen, people have traveled. So they have experienced. That is the kind of education, or the so-called woke is what I'm talking about. So people don't ask you like stupid random questions, and they let you be. Like I know if I had to rent out a house for both of us in, I don't know, Barakpur in Kolkata, I would have had to definitely say he's my cousin brother. Have I done that in Bangalore? Yes, I have. Of course I have done that, because I was scared. I was honestly scared, because there was a time actually, the house that we lived before this one, we were at the absolute verge that no, we need to find a house urgently and we need to move. And at that point in time, getting the house was more important than being true to myself. And sometimes you have to take that call, and I took that call. I'm not ashamed about it. This is how you live life, because sometimes you have to, tweak your principles in your head. So I was okay with that. But then there are times when you eventually, over the time in your life, in your career and all of that, you kind of get into that zone that no, my principles come above everything, and I will not bend and all that. So now when I go out, and for example, this house that we moved into fairly recently, I went and I told that, I will be moving in with my husband and my mother, and I didn't expect them to say, like, I didn't ask them, are you okay with it? Are you not okay with it? What's your take? I don't care what your take is. This is what comes to you. You can find a way to say no to me, because I found a way to, bring my truth to you. Some of them were very smart, like really smart, to decline the offer in the politest of ways. Um, However, the current owner that we have, the house that we live in, she's absolutely thrilled about the fact that a gay couple lives in her house, and you know, it has its pros and cons. Like, I also want to give so much more to the house, that because that house has come with so much love to me. So I want to do everything that I can to make it better, make it pretty. I will not even think twice before doing something better for the house, because that house came with love. So I have had those experiences in Bangalore. We did travel a lot, and I have not experienced, unfortunately, that kind of reciprocation from anywhere else in India as much as I have felt it in Bangalore. This I felt as the most accommodating city. Yes, I know people are talking about speak Kannada and all of that. I never faced it. Okay, I honestly haven't faced it. I haven't faced, like, when I came in, I was an outsider. I never felt an outsider even for once. Of course, I loved the food already, but that's a separate story. The city just absorbed me in. Like, yes, you can live here. There is no problem. Nobody's going to call you an outsider. So I am super grateful that I could live in Bangalore, which is an extremely queer-friendly city. And I don't know how to put it across. There are a lot of queer-friendly cities, but I felt when I went there, I was judged as well. I was judged for being not, there was one city which judged for not being gay enough. For another city is like total fat shamed me. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, fine, ab hai to hai. So there are cities which has given me a different angle of not accepting me for what I am, but Bangalore just didn't care. Like, you want to eat idli, go eat idli. You want to eat something else, go eat that. Like, nobody gives to, I don't know how to politely say it, but nobody gives two shits about what you want to do. It's perfectly fine. So yeah, Bangalore is beautiful.
Any?
Yes, I mean, I feel Bangalore is better than other cities. I'm being very judgmental, but Delhi, Gurgaon, no.
I don't think you need to
Yeah, the laugh spoke.
No, not at all. Mumbai is too over, so Bangalore is just safe space for me. And of course, I found my love in Bangalore. So of course, yeah.
I think that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you.
I'll have to take that. Yeah. This keeps going on. We'll just keep sharing. The next question is pertaining to that last beautiful scene in the film, where you see them both going into the house in Bombay, and you see this safety that they get in that space and the kind of warmth that they share in that embrace, and it's such a perfect way to end the movie, right? My question is about, thank you. My question is about a lot of queer people in India. We get away by being mistaken for being friends, because, you know, male-male bonding, female-female bonding is absolutely okay in India. Nobody's going to come and question you if two guys enter a hotel room together or two women enter a hotel room together. So we kind of actually have it slightly easier in that sense when it comes to straight people, because if you have a two gendered couple walking into a room, people are going to be like, what are they doing there? But we get away most of the times. Not saying that it's easy or it makes our lives any better, but you know, when was that first time that you found a space like in that scene where both of you felt safe? Where you both felt like how you said that this was a beautiful house, your owner accepted you. But did you have that kind of a moment where you both were with each other and you knew that nobody could do you any harm? Do you remember when that first moment was?
Thinking.
I cannot recall any, but there were multiple such
Yeah.
moments, multiple such moments. Like recently we were on a cruise and I had a breakdown after long illness, and he was my comfort zone.
I think if I have to talk about this, I think when we first moved into that Amulya Homes home, I think there we had felt, whenever we have traveled, I have experienced it in sporadic situations. And I think our first travel was in a place which was super queer friendly and all of that, was in Paris. that is where I had felt it, because I was literally in my undies and I was just roaming around in the house, and in Paris the windows are like so big, so everybody can see everything. Like, and I still felt that nobody's gonna come and go all bash out on me, and it's just fine because I am in my space. What I do is up to me, and that was very beautiful. I had experienced that, yeah.
Quickly moving on.
Right.
Yeah, quickly moving on to the next question, which is, you spoke about how people look at you, right? Like, for example, do they look at you and figure out you're gay in Bangalore? Do you get looked at differently because of the way you present yourself? A lot of people say that when they behave in a certain way in a country like India, you often get treated in a certain way. Like, for example, how you were saying a city fat shamed you. A lot of cities femme shame people.
Yeah.
A lot of city trans shame people. Have there any... See, for me personally, like for example, now dressing in a kurta like this and walking into a space like this, I know for a fact that I do not get mistaken for a woman in Bangalore. I don't know the same in another city, because multiple times people actually thought I was a woman because I wore a kurta, funnily enough. Have you ever come across these kind of different spaces in this country where one space is just accepting you as you are and another space isn't, and kind of trying to figure out who you are? Because like with both of them, they're both very cis-passing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not going to, even batter their eyelids twice. But with a lot of people from the community who are trans, a lot of people who do not pass, they kind of face this all the time. Do you think because you both pass as cis guys, it's easier for you? Or have you faced situations where it's harder?
I don't pass.
You don't pass? Okay, Saptarshi.
If I pass, they're blind. This
Well,
is gay. Okay. But this was gayer, if
Okay.
I can say that, in my childhood. So I would get called names like "ladki hai kya?" Ladki was a very common word. Okay. And eventually, one fine day, one of my elder sister's husband, Jijaji, okay, he had made a comment. Strangely enough, he had one of his ears pierced for some religious purposes, okay. So I said, मेरे तो कान भी नहीं छिदे, छिदे तो आपके हैं. So, I mean, that hit him, that अरे ऐसे कैसे बड़ों को ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया तुमने. He was also saying that. So, I did all that, but then, of course, while I made those comments, something deep within had definitely hit me hard for me to retaliate, because I was retaliating. So, I have faced that, but over the time, I think I have gone through a tremendous mental shift of that, what we call as the code change in corporate these days, that you kind of try to align to what the society wants you to be, and over the time, that has become my personality. So I don't even know if this is what I am today, but I'm okay with what I am, so I'm not even going back to questioning my roots and all. But maybe I had to do that code shift so that, I fit in. Because, come on, we have to work, and I have to interact with the rest of the world. I cannot always expect that, everything will be as safe space as this is. And I have to deal with that, and to deal with that, I had to shift. And I think that is the worst situation that anybody has to go through, because they're not able to be absolutely, they're not able to bring their true self on the table. But today what they are, maybe they're not that. I don't know. I mean, that's my take. So
No, that's something that we all need to think about. Who are we? Who do we present ourselves to the world that we interact with?
So have I faced it? Yes, of course. That has made me what I am today.
So,
Yes, I have faced it too, a lot. So we used to live in this Muslim ghetto areas. So wahi hijra, chakka, I was effeminate. And some of them, like naughty ones, called me Apa. And in school, impacted my personality, impacted my studies. It was very painful. Somehow, 10th tak khecha, and then I need to run away from this space. I left my loved ones, left the city, left everything. I'll find my way. So, yes, big cities, it is easier, but in my first job in Delhi, it was again bad. And then to accommodate myself in the society, I had to change. I had to change. And now I don't know what real Adil is. I really don't know and I'm so scared to know myself at this moment. I don't know, it's sort of a facade, which has become part of my personality now. But I don't know what is real Adil.
Thank you so much for saying that, because that leads me to my next question, which will probably wrap up this conversation, which is, keeping that in mind, do you think you will ever find a space, or is that space already found in Bangalore, where you will be able to be exactly who you want to be without thinking twice? Because we're all performing, we're all in spaces where we're changing, we're trying to perform people in front of us to be expected. As you very rightly said, I don't know who this new person is, the person that I'm presenting to the world. Do you hope that there will ever be space? Do you think there can be that space? And have you kind of found it in a city like Bangalore?
There are quite a few. First of all, to begin with, my home. My home is safe space to me and to whoever comes home. Okay, I would want to provide that space which I did not have when I grew up. Now today, if I'm able to have a space which I call as home, where I live with my husband and my mother, and they are absolutely okay with the way three of us live, three of us are okay with three of us being the person that they are, I would love that whoever comes in whatever shape, size, form, whatever you come as, you get to be and stay what you really are. And so I want my home to be the first one for me in my head. Then today there are more spaces that are slowly coming up. It will take time, because how do you barricade, or how do you fence out the area that others can't get in, and somebody who is judgmental won't get in? But maybe we all have to become strong enough that even if that energy gets in, that gets diluted and starts being one amongst us. Maybe that will work, but it will take time. It's not easy, because we're dealing with people. People are difficult. Yeah, that's me.
Well, now life is good. I have no complaints from life, and I'm very grateful for what I have and where I am today. And regarding the safe space, yes, I'm in safe space now. And when I talk about the community, yes, a lot of people are doing whatever in their capacity, like Romal hosting this event, or Ashish Chopra does
There are quite a few
events.
people who are doing.
There are a lot of parties, and there are safe spaces for us. But for me, I think this where I am, I'm quite content, quite satisfied, and just taking it forward from here. We have our business, we are artists, we run our art company, we have our jobs. So life is good now, and I hope every gay man, lesbian, or anybody should get a nice partner like the one that I have.
You two are too adorable. Okay. I think that's a wonderful place to end. But before I let you both go and we open it up to the audience to talk, share, whatever, I have to ask you, in the whole film, while the whole film was beautifully warm, what was your favorite scene personally?
When he said sorry to his mother.
Do you want to think about it for a while? Let's open it up to anyone who has an opinion, and then we'll come back to it. Yeah? Yes.
Hey, hi. First of all, thank you for sharing your stories.
Welcome.
And I wish you happiness in your life.
Thank you.
So I got to watch this film first at Dharamshala International Film Festival this year. I was there. And
Sorry, I think the mic.
yeah, I think the mic, some of them are. Why don't you take this? Is working. Yeah. So I'll start from first. Thank you for sharing your stories, and I wish you happiness up ahead. So I saw this film first time in Dharamshala International Film Festival this year, and it was beautiful even then, and even now it is equally beautiful. What I saw that from all over the world, a lot of queer films had come to that festival, and I saw queer films before too. Like from all over the world, queer films were so beautiful, but India lacked that, like a good queer film was very hard to find. Like not many Indian filmmakers made that, and a few attempts that were there were not good or not appreciable. So this film and another one was Rafu. It was a short film by a first film student there. So these two films were like really stood out, and for the queer community, like I'm really happy that these films are being made. So I'm hoping that now Indian filmmakers, especially indie filmmakers in India, will make more films focusing on the queer communities, because I think these stories need to be told to the world and more people need to know. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah, thank you.
I think you should follow BQFF. Have you heard of BQFF?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
there are several queer film festivals across the country.
Okay.
There's Kashish in Bombay, BQFF, Delhi has its own, Chennai has its own, Pune, and you will find lots of queer filmmakers who are coming up with amazing, the kind of themes that I am seeing in queer cinema these days is amazing. Also in the short film space.
Yes, short films are
Amazing movies, great animations coming out
Yes.
from different corners of this country, from small villages to extremely big cities. We're seeing a lot of Northeast representation also coming in,
Yes.
which I am very, very happy about.
Same, I'm from Guwahati, so
I'm from Manipur.
Oh.
It's just amazing to see how queer cinema can, push the narrative further.
Yes.
And I'm so happy you caught it at Dharamshala, which is
Yeah.
a beautiful film festival.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing your opinion.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyone who'd like to share their opinion on the film, anything you'd have to say, if you want to talk to our two fabulous people on stage.
Yes, thank you also for sharing your story. This is the second time I'm also watching this film, and my favorite scene is perhaps the one where he gets the Sabar Bonda. He's gifted it, and he recognizes that the thorns have been removed. I also want to mention that I was able to get my family here today to watch, my parents and my
Thank you
sister.
so much for coming.
So it's taken a lot of effort. I don't necessarily mean to get them here physically, but I guess it's taken a long journey, so I'm happy that they're here as well. Yeah, thank you.
We're super proud of all of you. Thank you so much for coming. We'd like to know what you all thought about the cinema, if you all would like to share. No pressure whatsoever. Anyone else? There are very few here, so if you'd like to just share about a scene that touched you, something that you would, I will definitely pass the message to Rohan. Do not worry about it.
My name is Chandan. I've been in Bangalore for the last 35 years, and some of the scenes are really heart-touching, because I am not out to my family. I one day, before leaving this planet, hope to have a conversation just like that in the movie, where he just sleeps on the lap of a mother and just, tells her, and mother tells me, I always knew. I do not know whether I'll get that opportunity or not, but this kind of movies really makes a lot of touches your body, touches the soul, and really brings out that probably we wouldn't have lived to see something like this. I do not know whether it will happen to me in my life or not, but at least through these movies we can live our lives. That's what I felt. That's one part. And second part is, as you said, BQFF. I personally make an attempt to take at least 2 people from rural Karnataka to BQFF, because I'll tell you, even in rural Karnataka, I cannot speak for the country. This being gay is associated as a equivalent to having a drinking habit or a drugs habit. मैं पीता नहीं, मैं ड्रग्स नहीं लेता, मैं सिगरेट नहीं करता, मुझे सिर्फ मुझे लड़के पसंद हैं. ನಾನು ಕುಡಿಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ ಸೇದಲ್ಲ, ಬೀದಿ ಮುಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಹುಡುಗರು ಇಷ್ಟ. ಸೊ it is equated as a bad habit. That's the awareness level in Karnataka at least. So BKFF has been really helpful, and I'm part of BFR too. And whenever I post even events like this, to be very honest, I'm going to post a couple of things about it in my Insta. So there are a lot of these queer boys, specifically, let's say, nearing Bangalore, who really want to see what's happening in Bangalore. Say, for example, Tumkur. Tumkur has a lot of gay crowd, which is just wanting to have some spaces there. So that's what I want to tell. I mean, this kind of event is something which nobody can imagine in a rural kind of a setup to be a part of. So that's what. And regarding safe spaces in Bangalore, Bangalore has evolved. In fact, to be very honest, the most safest space pre mobile internet era was Cubbon Park. It is right next to us. Cubbon Park was the place for trans and gay people, and the police was extremely supportive. It was the best cruising places of Bangalore. Of course, things have evolved and changed. I don't want to say how bad it has become. Grindr has made the worst things possible. But safe spaces, I have been to the first gay party of Madhav in Bangalore, the open one. That time we used to go get SMSs. There was one mobile per family. Everybody else ran on a landline. So I told Madhav, please don't message. Everybody sees this message. I used to get a message regarding the gay party. So Bangalore's evolved from such kind of closed spaces to very, very open spaces in a very beautiful way. So I see parents being brought, parents meeting happening in Namak Pride, this one. So things have evolved, and I hope it becomes more better. We are the most privileged one. The cis gay men are the most privileged one, and we keep on taking the privileges among the queer spaces. But yeah, I hope it becomes as inclusive as possible going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, and I think all of us are going to pray that you have that moment with your parents. Don't say that it's not going to happen. We will all hope that it does happen, because all of us deserve that kind of love and affection and acceptance. Thank you so much for talking about the history of the movement in the city and how spaces have evolved. I've been a part of the community since I was 16 or something like that. I'm 39 now, and I've seen the city change for a very, very long time, and I do agree, it's become wonderfully open. A big shout out to spaces like MAP for opening your doors for free screenings like this, and we really would encourage them to do a lot more interactions with the community and do a lot more stuff for us, because it's wonderful to have a Sunday afternoon event like this where we can all come chill, watch a great movie and have a conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. And for those of you who don't know what else happens in the city, get in touch with anyone who's queer around you, and they will tell you about the wonderful culture that happens in the city. There's so much going on. We've got badminton clubs to running clubs to sitting at Cubbon Park and not talking to each other clubs to all kinds of things. So it's a prolific community to be a part of right now. Everything's happening. There's also I don't know if MAP knows this, but there's a whole bunch of queer people who actually come to MAP very often and walk through all of you, and they put up Instagram posts about it and invite people to come and check out art. So it's a beautiful, beautiful time for queer people in the city, but we have to move it out of cities like Bangalore and cater to the other districts around us like Tumkur, and I'm sure that day is coming soon, definitely, with a lot of NGOs and social workers that are working. One day we'll be there when we will go to Davangere and do a screening of films like this, I'm sure. Any other comments, or we will wrap up? Yes.
Hi, my name is Varsha. First of all, I want to thank you, MAP, because I've been looking forward to watching this all year long, and I'm really, really glad I got to do this. Secondly, I just want to say that I'm super, super, super glad that it has a happy ending, because so often a lot of the queer media that I watch, books I read, stories, news articles, whatever, I don't know why it just becomes like tragedy is part of an aesthetic, like it's some sort of aesthetic to be queer, and I really hate that. And I don't know, I kept holding my breath. I was like, oh my God, something's gonna happen. Oh my God, something's gonna happen, but nothing happened. And they got out of the village, they got to Mumbai, they got into this house that they could share with each other. And I think it's very, very important to see that that kind of happy ending does exist in real life. Not everything is tragedy, not everything has to be, let's align with society, let's sacrifice everything. You're queer, be proud about it, seek what you want, and I'm glad that we got the happy ending. That's all I had to say. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, and I must tell you that the interview with Rohan, the first thing he pointed out was that all the films he had watched while growing up were about sad endings of queer people, and he promised himself that he'll never make films like that. So that was a very conscious decision, but he also rooted it in reality and didn't make it, an over-the-top Bollywood production, for example. So, any other comments, or we'll wrap up this event and you all can have a wonderful Sunday evening. Yes, we have to get back to your favorites.
Well, I like the entire movie. I like the entire movie. There's no specific favorite scene. But yes, the last scene is really nice. The happy ending. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share their last scene before we call it a wrap? Yes, yes.
Not a scene, like there are so many of them, and I really like the one where he's like eating and he's so happy. I think, but like the way the intimacy throughout the movie is sort of portrayed, it's never sensationalized. It's never like a lot of mainstream queer media is about like, oh, all queer people do is like hook up, like cruise, go on the apps, and like there's so much like sensationalization of like what queer life looks like, what queer love looks like. So what I liked throughout the movie was how intimacy was very like a cishet couple like having some sort of intimacy, and then these two people having intimacy. There could be parallels and not so many similarities at the same time, but it was all very like normal. Nothing was like so flashy as to be like, oh, see, two gay men doing this or doing that. So I really liked about that movie.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's very important to remember that it's very important to remember that media does also, influence the audience that consumes it. And for the longest time, because of the kind of media that was present around, be it films, be it shows on, OTT platforms like Netflix, people often thought that queer culture was just that, even people within the queer community. And it's so important, therefore, to have films like this that has zero stuff that focuses on the hookup culture, that just shows you that intimacy can be beautiful, it can be tender, it can be very, very heartfelt, and it doesn't have to be about, and there are also references to it in the movie where he says, I don't find that kind of love here, people just come meet me and it's done. I found that whole scene of the guy coming for a hookup hilarious. I thought it was very beautifully done. So yes, I think all of us would like to see more cinema like this, and I hope that it gets out on more platforms and more people get to see this. Thank you so much for spending time and being here. I hope you enjoyed the film as much as everyone else did. Yes, one more comment? Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out for the father character, who we don't see, but there was some quiet support and understanding from the father's side, but also like there's some ambiguity about like what the father really thought about this or believed in, which I thought was wonderful. And touching on the intimacy part, like there was one scene where the father hugged in the dream the main character, like that I thought was a wonderful scene.
Thank you so much for sharing. If there aren't any more comments, shall we wrap this up? Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being at this space. Is there anything that Map would like to let us know?
Yes, so thank you so much for having this lovely conversation with us. Just wanted to let you know that this movie that we screened, it's in conjunction with our exhibition, Visible Invisible, and today is the last date that it's going to be open. It's like closing from now, and we'll have a new exhibition next year. So if you guys you haven't seen the exhibition. You can go see it right now, and also like it's just free entry for all the exhibitions in the museum. So it's open till 7:30. So if anyone's interested, Visible Invisibles on the 4th floor. And again, thank you guys for having this conversation. Thank you all of you for joining us and watching this movie. I wish I got the chance to sit as like an audience and watch this too. I was like in the control room the entire time, making sure nothing goes wrong. But yeah, I hope you guys had a nice day, and I hope you guys have the rest of the day to be nice too. So yeah, thank you.
Big round of applause to MAP. Thank you so much. And I would personally like to thank Saptarshi and Adil for being available for this conversation. Very few couples in a city like Bangalore, as progressive as we are open to, being there, putting their lives out like this so openly. Thank you so much. It took a lot of courage, and I am very indebted to both of you. Thank you so much.